Yeah, how are you doing this week? Yeah, the pandemic is getting worse and worse. I hope you guys doing well and healthy and I don't know. So what kind of work you guys are doing, but still, yeah, I hope you are safe and secure and healthy. When you have any question about study, maybe life, yeah, you can contact me, and then maybe email me, and we can talk together. We can learn together. All right. So today we're gonna learn about how we use the historical perspective understanding and cultural understanding in interpreting the Bible. So this is really important too. So sometimes we use the grammatically or contextually understand all stuff, but sometimes behind the culture, if we don't understand the behind the culture, sometimes it's hard to meaning of the words the authors to intend to deliver. So if we know the history and if we know the life of the time, so it's much better to understand of the original meaning. So today we're gonna go over kind of a basic principle of the interpretation with the historical and cultural perspective. So it helps you to understand better. So maybe today, lesson is kind of we're gonna share and we're gonna practice a little bit, but it might be shorter than last week. I hope. Yeah. Okay, before we get started, and I'm gonna show you something. Can you see this one? It's kind of a horn. So was a ram or sheep, I don't know which one, but still, I bought this one when I went to Switzerland. It was a highest mount is called Jungfrau. So I bought that one for souvenir. I tried to find when they use this one, but it's hard to understand. Maybe the shepherd, maybe people who cares about the sheep, and maybe they can blow this one. Yeah, it's a little bit sound is kind of funny, but still, I don't know. It's kind of one note like this, but it's it's really decorated and it's nice. Yeah, so whenever I see this one, and then I don't know their culture, but I remember where I went, right? But I don't know behind this story, but another things I bought is 2006. When I went to the Israel. Can you see this one? How big this one? Around the time I paid around $80. It's really, really expensive. So I tried to bargain, but it didn't work. So I paid around $80 because this is big. This is called shofar, and then it's made out of the ram horn. Usually they use a kind of the really important occasion, and there's kind of holidays and battles, and try to get attention from people, and then they use this one. This is kind of this is a unique kind of a cultural stuff in Israelites, and then when they really have something like a New Year or the worship when they start the Sabbath, and then they blow horn this one, so they let them know, and it's time for something. That you use this one. Long time ago, I tried this one, but I don't know. Can I try this one? See? barely can do it, but yeah, this is really important for their community. So when you read the Bible and yeah, you could see that they use a trumpet and kind of a sound, they blow their trumpet and it means the devil. So I cannot very well blow this one, but I'm gonna show something. Okay. Okay. The sound is totally different, right? Yeah. And they have a certain way. Sometimes they blow once, and sometimes they try to blow twice, boo boo. Like sometimes 3 times, stop and blow, bum bum bum, like this. I don't know, but they have their own kind of way to blow, and but kind of there is no any note, kind of monotone, but they use kind of a length of wave. They use a length of wave to try to communicate. Yeah, that's kind of your cultural stuff. And then when you read the Bible, just remember this one. The people use that one, and then they blow the horn, and then trumpet, and you can imagine this one, and then how they use that one. Okay, so why it is very important to for what is the historical and cultural perspective in interpreting the Bible. What do you think? Yeah, we can have a common answer. Is if we know the historical event and situation and then cultural stuff, and then it is better to understand the original meaning. That's one of the purpose, right? Because culture is different, right? Sometimes cultures evolve with the history. So when you see when you look back around the 2090, the 1900, and then before you born, and then think about your country, the kind of situation, economic and political and all kind of situation. But nowadays it's really different, right? As I told you before, and then about so I saw the computer when I was around 1990, 1990s. In the beginning of 1990s, Korea developed the computers, personal computers. And then, around 1996, and they developed a website, and then kind of I learned how to search, using the Yahoo website, webpage. It's the kind of culture is kind of evolving with the times, the history. So, and as times goes by, and a lot of things are changing, right? That's why if we don't know the kind of culture, it's a culture's kind of the product of the we can define the culture is culture by kind of product of the people's life, and it's hard to understand it without their life, especially like books and written book like Bible, right? So that's why try to go back. It's very limited. The materials and resources are very limited because it's a long time ago. There is no any written kind of communication or recording communication, but still yeah, there is kind of a partial kind of a kind of record and written stuff and archaeologists found, and based on that one, we try to infer how their life is like, right? Was like. So we try to understand their life. So just the history plays a role like what's a diachronics is kind of linguistic terms in linguistic term. And what is the diachronic aspect? Means the concern with the way in which something, especially language, has developed and evolved through the time, right? That's the diachronic aspect. So about 2000, around the 1900, early 1900, if you see something like language, but I don't know in English, but nowadays and times goes by and meaning is a little bit changed and people are using differently, right? There's history kind of provides like a diachronic aspect, right? And we can see how language has evolved with the time. We can see how person's life, people's life are improved. Well, a lot of different things, right? About 10 years ago is different from right now. Nowadays it's kind of it's really, really different. There's the diachronic aspect, right? Diachronic aspect. You can see how it's changed, but culture is kind of just think about the product of the people's life, and that's my personal definition. But if we define the culture as a kind of there is a certain period of time they need, kind of stuff. But anyway, it's a concerned with something, especially a language. That's the same thing. Diachronic and synchronic is kind of linguistic term, but if we use a kind of a little bit differently in history, culture, so and it means that it exists at this point right now, right? So they don't mind. We cannot see how this is evolved, right? Just think about the right now kind of electronic stuff, right? And just sometimes we don't know in the past, right? When I talk to my kids about past life, they don't understand because they don't have any clue. They never been there, right? Just kind of the face of the time right now, and around the 1900s, there is something there, right? We can see that one, but we don't know the behind the stories. That's their culture, right? It's a product, so we cannot see kind of a process, we cannot see how it developed, but we see the kind of one of a product. This is a kind of a culture, so we consider culture, right? So in history and culture, with the history and culture, we can see kind of how people's life developed and how they project their life in the time. So we can see that one. Okay, so when you study about the biblical literature, the Bible, and then we kind of pay attention to two things. One is kind of historical intentionality. It means that author assumed certain shared information with the original readers. I already told you, and that just think about I wrote a letter to someone about 2,000 years, 10, 20 years ago. But just think about, I remember someone, right? And I wrote a letter, but nowadays kind of nobody knows the letters here and the what. people need to know what is the intention, why he wrote the letter to the people, like this. So we gotta pay attention about historical intentionality. So when you read about history book or narrative, what about epistle and gospels, kind of there is a different audience, original readers, and there is kind of different intentions. So we gotta know that one. So maybe we can learn later. Another one is a kind of literary intentionality. So just think about Psalm is kind of poetry, right? Poetry is a little bit different from the narrative, like a story. There is kind of certain things there, right? And repeat, some things repeat, and every paragraph, sent, I don't know exactly, but there is a format there, but they use the format and kind of express their life. So they use the different literature. So we gotta remember that why they use that one and how they deliver the message through that. So we gotta remember that one, right? So usually about history about the culture of the biblical times, like Old Testament and New Testament time, and then usually it depends on the archaeology. So archaeologists try to dig to the ground and try to excavate something, right? Pottery and debris, any kind of things, and try to put together and interpret their life, right? And sometimes, a lot of material is kind of there, and then maybe we can someone all the time like Homer and Herodotus, and then a lot of people they kind of wrote the kind of books and stories, and then still there. But I don't know how exact the same as that the author tried to deliver, but still there. So we use that one and reinterpret what it means with other stuff, other resources. So we want to get some information. Try to get information is kind of strongly supported by someone, and best one is kind of supported by scholars. But sometimes a lot of information is there. So sometimes if you go to Wikipedia, and then you gotta make sure what information where it comes from. Some of them is kind of they cited and really scholarly people, and then you can take it, but sometimes it's not a reliable resource. They use it, but you gotta be careful though. Sometimes it's not true, right? That's why logically and contextually, and we gotta see how this information is kind of strong to be fact. So I'm gonna give when you research about kind of historical background, we gotta know the kind of this stuff. It's a basic. You can dig up more, but still, we gotta think about the geographies. Sometimes and move this one and go back this one. Kind of a lot of evolving, especially in world. So 2006, I went to Israel about a month, and then it was part of a class. It was very, very crazy. So every week we went to kind of an archaeological site, and it's really we see the relics and all kind of stuff, and then we kind of got lectures from by someone, and then after the end of the week, and we came back to our place, and then we had to take a test. 4 weeks. It was really intensive. So yeah, I remember that it's kind of we stay whole week in Jerusalem. So we kind of explored all around inside Jerusalem and outside of Jerusalem. Jerusalem, which is really important. Considered to be important site. So the guide always take us some place and then try to connect with geographically, right? And then we go there one and there one, try to kind of try to make us kind of draw the mental map in our mind. After that one, so when I read the Bible, kind of the map is in my head, right? Oh yeah, that one is I've been there, and then they come up from Egypt, and then they are kind of between sandwich, and then so Egyptian is coming up from the south, and then the north from the what? And Assyria or the Babylonian came and they fighting each other, like that. And we gotta research for political situation and what is going on. And we gotta know their economics, right? And we gotta know the kind of military and war, all kind of stuff. This one, when you read the Bible and this kind of historical stuff, you maybe try to see. And usually when you find a good commentary, and then it's a tons of information there. But nowadays it's a lot of study material came out, like Bible study with cultural background, Bible study. I mean the study Bible with archaeology stuff, resources. There is out there a lot of stuff, right? And but a lot of authors and kind of wrote specific things in their books, right? So you can see that. Okay, let's see. Go over the geography. Have you thought about why Jesus chose Capernaum for his Galilean headquarters? He lived around the Galilee area, right? And but he set up his headquarters on Capernaum. Why? I wrote this. It is located on the Great Trunk Road, major trade artery which connected Egypt and Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia, right? So I'm gonna give you a little bit more information about that. Just think about at that time. Oh, sorry. Can you see this map? There is a kind of a big kind of highways in Israel in biblical time. This is the King's Highway. This one is an international kind of a route to go to all the way to the north. And then this one is kind of the way over shore. The way over shore is mean that this one is a patriarch. The way of a patriarch mean that usually Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, they take this route usually. And then this is kind of hilly countries. It takes a long way. It's not a fast way, but still there is one of the way. This one is Dead Sea is here, Jordan River is here, and Galilee, Sea of Galilee is here. And another way is what? The way of the sea, the coastal highway. There is a lot of people take this one and all the way, and what's a trader usually take this one, and then they stop by and they sell some stuff, and they take all the way this one and go this way. Do you know that one? This is kind of Capernaum around here. Capernaum is Jesus. Jesus Christ set up his headquarters here, and usually people go this way, but it's a very fast way. But if you wanna go, kind of a trader and stop by certain city and then you sell something and trade something, and that is a perfect way then go. This one is a little bit hilly, it's hard, take longer, but this is a perfect way. And on the way, you can go this way, all the way up, along with the coastal line, but you can go to Galilee and Hazard and Capernaum and here and go. But this way is kind of all road. Look at this, and then the route of the patriarch is kind of merged in Megiddo with the coastal highway, and then coastal highway goes all the way in Damascus. It's kind of merged this way, right? Merged with the King's Highway. You could see a little bit different way. So this is Israelite and go. This is Egypt, and all the way go and still go up this way, and by along with the coastal line. And but that's the people turn this one this is a major trade route, and then it's a really an important city in Capernaum. And then why Jesus Christ set up his headquarters here, not this way? This one is the best way, but usually people go straight, but people go this way. And through the Damascus, we can see one of the large important city at the time. So Jesus didn't take this this city, and he didn't take any here. He didn't take headquarters. He didn't establish his headquarters here in Jerusalem or Shechem or other place, right? Just think about it, people moving, migrate all the way and here and all the way, and then go what? The Damascus, right? So he always think about important trade route. And they try to teach about the gospel, and then people carry on the where? Damascus. And then people wanna bring this one and then meet and then what? Here and they hear. If they hear the gospel and then what? Look at this. Damascus is kind of a big city, but all the way go Turkey and Asia, right? All the way down, and this is Arabia countries, and then India. So like all the way, it's a really strategic place. That's why Jesus Christ take this one. So it's not just to externally stay there and teach about the gospel. Always he's think about how people are moving, and then how people going back, and how people going back means what? Going down to Egypt in the Africa, right? Africa, and then going up in Asia and Turkey and Europe, right? They can reach it. That's why this is a really strategic place. That's why Jesus Christ took the place. It was amazing when I studied about that one. Do you know that the Damascus here, right here, from the Jerusalem, about 6 days by foot, right? Around 6 days by foot, and it's it's really commercial. It's a center of commercial commerce and then transportation. So you can see all the kind of ways kind of merges, and people are always stop by there. It's a lot of people stay there, right? It's a really important city. And look at this, a little bit different way. So long time ago, so in biblical time, so yeah, Abraham kind of stayed there for a while. If you could see the Bible, and in Damascus, there's a lot of things that happened in Israel history, because look at this, and then yeah, you can see, right? And they gathered men unto him, and because the captain overwhelmed, and David slew them, and they went to Damascus and dwelt there. Yeah, it's kind of a lot of they are kind of we cannot ignore those. Yeah, we cannot ignore the city, because the city was so influential at the time, right? In biblical history. And then, but around 732 BC, and then Assyria conquered the city, right? Yeah, I already mentioned the commercial city, and then many Jews stayed. Kind of they left, but they have their own community like that, right? They migrate. It's not Israel, but a lot of people, they move there and they stay there, like immigrant in United States, like us. And they left the hometown and they come to California, and then they have their own community, right? And the place is kind of where people accepted Jesus and were converted. Yeah. A lot of people, Jesus Christ kind of had a strategic to spread the gospel all over the Asia and Europe, and that's a lot of people there, and why they're staying, and they heard about the gospel, and then they accepted Jesus Christ. And one of them is kind of a Saul at that time. If you read Acts and 7 and 9, 10, and then what is at the time, so a lot of the Jewish community, and what is the scribes and the high priests, and then they persecute the Christians, right? And they spread all over the region, and then they kind of fled to the Damascus, but still there was Christians, and Saul got a kind of a power to get the people who get the Christians, and then bring them, and then put in the jail like that. And then he was on the way to Damascus, and then what happened? And he met Jesus Christ, and then he converted to Christian, right? Like this. So a lot of there is a Jewish communities there in New Testament period, but still there were some Christians there, right? At the time. So it's a really, really important city. So that's why we needed to know the geography, how people are moving, how kind of if you know the geography, and then it's easy to how people are moving and what happens and how kind of interacted, and then that kind of stuff. We can know that. What about the politics? It's really important too. Israel is the buffer zone between the Assyrian, Babylonian, and Persian. I'm gonna show the map. This is Israel, right? Always kingdoms change. Assyria and Babylon and another Babylon and Persia, kind of a historical dynasties coming and try to go down to Egypt, and then Africa, and then they have to go through, right? There is a route. There is no route here, and there is a route, and then go to Egypt. And there is a way. That's why I always try to people come and try to go down, and they have to go, had to go through the Israel and Assyria and Babylon and Persia, the Chaldean Babylons and Persian. They do, right? And what about the Egypt? And Egypt also, they will not go to all the way Asian countries, and they have to take this way. That's why they are always a sandwich, both of them, between Egypt and then Assyria and other countries, right? So sometimes, Israelites, sometimes they go, they rely on this Egypt, and sometimes they rely on Assyria and Babylon or Persia. There is kind of really intense relationship. It's really, really hard for the Israel, because always, sometimes they fight here, right? They're not coming down here and they coming up here. That is kind of a political situation, though. What about let me see. What about economics? I already told you in when I speak about the geography, and then what? Economics is kind of developed, right? In the early biblical time, like patriarch society, like Abraham, Jacob, and Isaac and Jacob, they are nomadics, right? They don't, maybe they stay temporarily and move and like this with their flocks. Just kind of agrarian society to what? Kind of if you come to the Solomon's, after David and Solomon dynasty, and you can see that a lot of people also trade through the seas, right? And totally different now. And what about what about during the Greco-Roman period? And they developed a big city. It's not a small city, right? It's totally different. So just think about agricultural society and then kind of merchant, kind of commercial, like merchanting society, and then metropolitan society. So everything is there, though, right? Usually the Bible starts from Genesis, and we don't know about a lot of stuff in Genesis 12, but still there is archaeologists working, but we don't know how many hours, how many days, and how many years for creation, and then but from Abraham, we consider kind of society. Before the people died, and they kind of live together in the it's kind of a castle, and they have their own community, right? But still, it's not like your society is totally different. Like it's not like agricultural society usually kind of they support themselves with the products. And maybe if you have something and trade with others, what you need, right? I'm gonna show you the kind of main route of the trade. Look at this. This one was a King's Highway in Damascus, and then usually a lot of people go this way and meet the Damascus, and maybe they do, and they take all the another way, straight way to where? Babylon. It's one of a big city in history, and goes down all the way, well, all the Persia in Persia around here, Persia here, right? And then this one is kind of where Susan was up, and you can see that Book of Esther. It's about this one, Persia dynasty around there, right? Big dynasty. So trade route is like Arabian desert is here. So all the way go out and King's Highway, all the way this one and Babylon. There is another trade there. Another trade, and you can see all the way the coastal line all the way up, and then coming you can Haran, Abraham just stay for a while, and all the way and Nineveh, and goes down this way, Babylon. So look at the Babylon in Damascus, and it's a really, really big city, right? It's a really, really big city. Everything is through the city. That's a big, from Egypt and to the Arabian countries, and then this is India right here, and all the way you can see kind of trade route, how they move, right? And that's the way that kind of economics kind of moving along with the trade, and then usually people use the trade when they move, like troops when Babylon troops move, they take this way or that way. Sometimes when you read the Bible, sometimes Abraham take this way, but sometimes people take this way. So you can know what route people are using, but there is a kind of Asian trade route, right? This is kind of Israel society, right? Their basic economies and how they live, right? Just think about people. They kind of carrying for the sheep, and that's what they're living. They use a tent, and they moving around around 12 people, 20 people living there together. But usually they stayed around next to the water. But if you go to Israel, you can see the geography is totally different, and then there is kind of a really hilly side, deep valleys and mountains is kind of there, and then, but no water there, right? But if you go to like a plain area like Jericho, and then really, it's a really fertile, it's a really good land, and enough waters, and it's really good for the it's a really good place to stay, live there. So always, society is kind of is really different, and then they just rely on the weather, and they cannot do anything, right? Really simple life. So far, what about this one? And I'm gonna show you about war and battles. Look at this. And how many empires and go and come and go? We can see Egypt and Babylon and Mitanni and Hittite, Assyria and Abraham, right? from this way, just think about how kind of this, kind of air race kind of change, the what is the power dynamic is changed. You can see that one, right? So last empire is the Persian Empire, right? Persian Empire is it's really big. It's almost like Greco-Roman Empire, But the Greco-Roman Empire went to the what is India. It's a border. It's a little bit different, but the Greco-Roman, who is that the great Alexandrian take over the Persian, right? Persian Empire. Kind of there is going to be a kind of power dynamic, so you can see what happens around here, each countries, and then come and go. It's like this one is like this one. Big Egyptian is there, and Babylon is here. And after Babylon, Persia is kind of take over this one. Assyria is here, right? Assyria is here. So always there is a big, this one, this one. There is always kind of big power dynamics, comes and go, right? Time. Can you see the kind of timing? I already told you, and then there is kind of a Bible timeline. So Abraham, we usually called around 2000 BC, and Abraham is kind of around 2000 BC. And one of the big figure in Israel is what? David, right? David is around 1000. It's easy to memorize, around 1000. And after 930, and Solomon is after Solomon, and then kingdom is separated, and then what? Around BC 400, we call the intertestamental period. It's kind of shut up. There is no anything like 400, and then Jesus Christ came around BC, and then died on the cross, and then around 80 is kind of we believe that we know that it's a kind of Bible is already kind of consented and closed it. But this is a biblical history. I can show you big things, but just think about around there, and then small, and then what? Small is kind of around before the Abraham, right? It's a part of Abraham's hometown is around there. And then another one, Arcade is kind of here, and then you can see that one. It's not easy. We cannot see that part. But if you read the Bible, you can see a lot of Babylon, and first Babylon, and then after that, Assyria take over the Babylon, and then there's Assyria, and then another Babylon is the Chaldean Babylon, is take over the Assyria, right? Assyria take over what? The Chaldean Babylon. So two Babylonians is coming, but it's a kind of time, period is different, right? Chaldean Babylon and Babylon. So Persia, and they take over around 300. The Greco-Roman take over Greece. They take over the Persia. There is a kind of political power dynamics in around Israel. Okay, and then we gotta know that when you research about historical and then cultural stuff, and then we gotta know the kind of cultural practices, right? Cultural practice. So, it's a lot of things. It's not easy because you just think about it. Culture is not small things, right? It's a culture is your life. People's life, actually. Everything is connected with culture. We say culture. We cannot kind of ignore any certain things because we ignore that one, it's hard to live, right? So we need to see that how they practice, how they live, right? So we consider kind of family customs, and we consider kind of materialistics and home and dress, and we can see how is their daily life. So nowadays, I don't know. Have you heard about Pompeii around the 70s, and then big volcano eruption, and then mountain, and then whole city is covered with and so they are excavating the area now, and then it's like archaeologists are trying to understand who they are, how they live like this. But recently I read an article about that one, and they try to understand the different things. How is the kind of they spend how's they market kind of meat, right? How around about that kind of stuff, and then they stay and excavating and try to understand and try to interpret their cultures, right? So everyday life is a lot of things involved, right? Just think about you gotta eat, you gotta sleep, you gotta meet someone, you gotta work, just you gotta go, a lot of things. But what about how you dressed, right? But except that one, what about the people's hobbies? They played any sports? It's not like right now. I know there is no basketball and football and soccer, but still they have their own things, right? What about music? What about art? How the all kind of stuff and relate to their life. That's the cultural practice. We gotta know that one. Just think about it. I can introduce some books and to help you. Just daily life at the time of Jesus, and then you could, if you read the book. I think I bought in Israel, but somehow I cleaned up to my house. I think I threw up. I couldn't find this book, and then so stupid. But still, you can see a lot how they live, and you can see a lot of stuff is there. And just think about this one. Everyday life in Old Testament, before the Jesus Christ, and how Jewish people, Israel, Hebrew people lived, and what they practice, all kind of stuff, right? This is another book is here, Everyday Life in Biblical Time, and then this one is like not just this one is this book is only focused on the Old Testament. This one is kind of Jesus time, and this one is covers and both, right? With the color pictures. This one is a cultural background study Bible. It's a Bible, but try to give a lot of resources, cultural resources to understand, and then they use a commentary relate, comment with the culture, so it's easy to see their culture. That's the books you can see, get some information. Today I'm gonna show you kind of clip of video, how they engage and how they marry. And when you read the Bible, especially in John, New Testament, John 2 and 11, and there is a wedding at Cana in Galilee, right? There is a wedding is mentioned here. And what happened, and then Jesus Christ and mothers invited to the wedding, and what happened and what? On the course of the feast, what? The wine ran out. It's a really embarrassing moment because usually, do you know, from the beginning to end, they need wine to drink, not the drunken. It's a part of drink, right? And Jesus Christ told the servant and also there is empty jars there and fill the jar with water, and what happened? And Jesus Christ told them, Jesus Christ told what? Told the servant, and hey, get the wine to serve the what? Guest. Guest said this is choice wine. So water turned into what? Wine. This is I know it's kind of really, really unbelievable story if you are not a Christian. But Jesus Christ said, we believe that He is divine and He is God and He can do it. And He did a lot of miracles and signs and wonder if you read the books, Bible, right? And then, there is kind of we couldn't see not detail, but there is kind of, there is wedding, right? Wedding, And another part of and mentioned about wedding is, related to wedding, it's not wedding, kind of engagement. And Matthew chapter 1 to 18, 20, like this, now the birth of Jesus Christ took place in this way. When his mother Mary had been betrothed to Joseph, before they came together, she was found to be with a child from the Holy Spirit. What? Something happened, right? Before they get married, what? She's married, pregnant. But they what? They betrothed. Betrothed is kind of they are engaged, right? But until they married, by their custom, they never get together. Not like that nowadays, right? They never get together. They can't. But she's pregnant, and something's happened. That's why Joseph wants to kind of Joseph didn't want to humiliate Mary and their family, and what he wants to try to kind of disconnect. Everything is kind of okay. Let them send her to her family. I'm gonna stop. I'm not gonna marry with I'm not gonna marry with Mary, and then kind of he planned it, right? So, and her husband Joseph, being a just man and unwilling to put her to shame, resolved to divorce her quietly. That is he wants to try to do it. That's one of the custom though. He's a really good guy, and then he doesn't want to kind of shame to marry his family and marry and then what? Try to quietly, right? Divorce with her quietly. That is one of the ways that they can kind of stop the relationship. But we cannot see how they marry, how they do all kind of stuff, right? Okay, then I can get some videos here and weddings and engaged and kind of engagement and marriage, kind of what is the marriage? I'm gonna show a little clip. You can see how it's different, right? Let's see. Yeah, this is interpretation,
In
right?
ancient Israel, around 970 BC, there lived a young man named Joab of the tribe of Asher. One day, his parents approached their firstborn.
Yoav, your olive harvest has been good, and it seems about time you started a family. What do you think of Netta, the daughter of the village potter?
Joab considered the suggestion. Very well. You know her father. Would you ask him on my behalf?
Of course. We'll see if we can arrange a match.
They broached the idea to Netta's father. He said,
I have nothing against your son, but I've had an equally good offer from Anan the carpenter. I have thought it over, and I think Netta would be better off married to Anan.
Joab's parents were saddened to lose a girl like Netta, but they were determined to help their son find a good wife. A few days later, Joab's father was talking with his friend the merchant. I've been trying to get a wife for my son, but the girls in our village all seem to be betrothed already.
One of my regular customers in another village has a daughter who's not betrothed. She is very...
Hold on, please. Oh. Yeah. Hold on, please. Like last time. Okay, sorry. Okay, can you watch again?
In ancient Israel, around 970 BC, there lived a young man named Joab of the tribe of Asher. One day, his parents approached their firstborn.
Yoav, your olive harvest has been good, and it seems about time you started a family. What do you think of Netta, the daughter of the village potter?
Joab considered the suggestion. Very well. You know her father. Would you ask him on my behalf?
Of course. We'll see if we can arrange a match.
They broached the idea to Netta's father. He said,
I have nothing against your son, but I've had an equally good offer from Anan the carpenter. I have thought it over, and I think Netta would be better off married to Anan.
Joab's parents were saddened to lose a girl like Netta, but they were determined to help their son find a good wife. A few days later, Joab's father was talking with his friend the merchant. I've been trying to get a wife for my son, but the girls in our village all seem to be betrothed already.
One of my regular customers in another village has a daughter who's not betrothed. She is very beautiful and industrious and would probably make a good wife. Would you like me to find out if her family would be interested in meeting yours?
At their request, the merchant arranged for Joab's parents to meet with his customer. The meeting went well, and Joab's parents went back to their son with their recommendation.
The daughter, Libby, would be a good match for you.
Joab trusted his parents' wisdom and was willing to ask for Libby. Sir, I am well able to provide for a family. If you think I'm worthy, please tell me what I must do in order for Libby to become my wife.
I have considered it, and I think it is of God. I believe you will make Libby very happy, but let us ask her if she agrees to the marriage.
Joab asked Libby if she was willing to become his wife.
Yes, I am.
Joab and Libby's father went to the village gates to ask the elders to be witnesses to the betrothal. Joab and his father-in-law agreed on a bride price. The two families returned to Libby's home and shared a meal together. Joab also gave gifts to Libby. While Libby was making herself ready for their union, Yoav returned to his home to finish everything that needed to be done before his first year of life as a newlywed, when he would not be charged with any business. After several months of being betrothed, everything was ready. With the blessing of his father, Yoav set out, accompanied by his friends, to get his bride.
An excited Libby was waiting with her friends, adorned in her bridal finery.
A big celebration was held in Libby's village, and another in Yoav's. The festivities lasted for several days. Yoav and Libby entered the wedding chamber and became one. After that, they were fully married and ready to start a new family in Israel.
How was it? So every country has a different kind of customs, right? Tradition about wedding. So nowadays, when you see the countries and getting losing their own cultures, traditions and cultures, but they make it simple but still some countries they practice their own things. But when I did, and then a lot of people when they married, and then Korean people, and they just kind of follow the Western style of a marriage ceremony, and then just for a picture and some little kind of activity and then kind of use the traditional one, but getting almost losing the traditional one, but. Interesting is that there is matchmakers there. Okay, parent depends on parent. Okay, the marriage is a kind of a contract between two families, but fathers signed the contract and then start. And nowadays you could see like in India, and there's kind of dowries there all the time, right? So maybe another country too. So you gotta get at least this much and this kind of dealing is there, and sometimes it doesn't work, and then kind of the engagement or and kind of the contract kind of doesn't doesn't come up, right? And just think about the unique thing is the parent kind of spot on one, and then so send someone kind of matchmaker, we call it third party, right? Matchmaker and go and kind of deliver, and they do, and always a matchmaker kind of mediate between the families. So how much we pay for the bride price, and then all the kind of stuff, and how we gonna do wedding, all the kind of stuff, the matchmaker, the third party, kind of plays a role in wedding, and that is kind of a unique one. And before they marry, they cannot get together. That's law, right? They cannot together. Usually they married around 16 and 17, but when they start, they could marry about 13 and 14 with the parent kind of permission, right? It's another as a person who marries, not matter with him, and parents arrange and parents talk to the other parents, and they do and made a contract, and on the wedding, they sign the final contract. And if they are over 20s and they're still single, it's kind of strange at the time, right? Usually they married at least around 16, 17, and over 20, It's really strange. Yeah, there is a lot of stuff is similar to maybe, yeah, I'm from the Asian countries, maybe they're part of Asia, and probably that's why a lot of similar stuff in culture, but yeah, and that, but it's a little bit different from a lot of, if you watch another YouTube and then, I don't want to give you too much time on watching the YouTube, and then they can see a lot of different stuff is going on, especially in the weddings. And before the wedding, it's a kind of really, really, it's not simple. It's a lot of process there, and the wedding is there, and we have the wedding feast is several days, and then they celebrate together, right? It's different stuff. So think about it. Try to learn other culture. Sometimes a lot of people think that if you from the rich countries, and then they think that they have a better culture, right? But it's not true though. I don't know who said that which one is superior, which one is inferior. Maybe we live in developed countries and have a more convenient life. We might think that our culture is better than other culture, but not really though. If you look at their life, even though they work hard and their environment is kind of it's not good, seems not good, but doesn't seem good, but still what? They are happy, happier than us, right? Then how can, maybe a little bit there is inconvenient stuff there, but still they are happy. Then who said that this culture is inferior, right? This culture is superior. That's a kind of imperialistic mindset, right? Don't think that our culture is superior than your culture, superior to your culture, and it's not right. Every culture has their own unique things, and even though there is a convenience and inconvenience there, but still have a right to be respect, right? So even though we are from different cultures, and maybe you guys going through a lot of stuff, and in America is a different culture from your country, but we still deal with a lot of stuff because of the difference. Difference is not the superiority, related to the superiority, inferiority though, right? That is another kind of political issue nowadays, but it's not really. So try to understand the culture and historical background to understand what is the original kind of intention of the author, right? It's really helpful. It's a part of it's not really relate to the historical and cultural understanding, but they approach the culture and they approach the what? History is a different perspective. We call the sociological interpretation. It's a kind of still they try to understand the history and culture, but their interpretation is different. So if the social description is the what? Social meaning the what? When we say social description and then deal with word or text and try to uncover our background, right? That will help us to identify social factors and laws and other factors, culture, all kind of cultures, right? That's the kind of social description. But sociological interpretation is a little bit different. They study the why behind the text, right? They don't think about the word of text, but they think about there is one of a common kind of phenomena is here. What is the phenomena is here? But they try to understand and understand like allegorically, allegorically understand, they try to understand the Bible, and they try to see the behind the text, right? Because of based on their research and based on our kind of frame of society, and use a current sociology theory, right? Sometimes, just think about it, 2,000 years ago, from now 2,000 is totally different. People's mindset is different. Their culture is different. But just think about, we just try to see that their life but understand with the current theory or current knowledge, it doesn't work. We follow that way, we're going to distort the intention of the author. So, and kind of use the current sociological theory, not just to understand the meaning of the text, but also recreate the social dynamics that lead to the product of the text, right? They try to recreate something through this one. So, just think about one of example in the Bible. They use kind of a conquest of Canaan. So they came out of Egypt and they marched to Canaan, right? They spent 40 years in the desert. But with Joshua's leadership, and they conquered the Canaan little by little. That's we believe that, we think that that is God's promised land, and God tried to people brought them out of Egypt and let them go to and live in the promised land. But their interpretation is like this, and pageant revolt model. And just think about it, and they have a kind of it's really, there is a lords here, pageant who kind of borrow their land, and then they have to pay, right? And then sometimes it's hard for them, and kind of a revolt model. I don't know how they recreated the stories, but like they totally recreated another story, and then this is it, right? This is a kind of approach though. So they try to understand the social kind of context and historical context and cultural context, but totally different understanding, interpretation. Just kind of brief understanding, but think about it, what is their problem? They misuse the Bible and the figures, and just think about like this. What is the model? The misuse of a model. Jesus is a current liberal teacher in the early Christianity that did not fit into millenarian model. Just think about it. Jesus Christ, he came to liberate the poor and kind of bind the people, oppress the people, and then they use kind of he's a liberator and liberal teacher, kind of against the scribes and what is it, the Pharisees and priests, right? It's a totally different perspective, and challenge them, and do right things, and that's one of our examples though. But the Bible says, Jesus Christ said that he didn't want to abolish any small stuff, right? he keep everything, but people are, why he lived priests and scribes and priests and then Pharisees and then why? They just keep as it is, but there is no heart from that one. They keep the Sabbath, right? Every Saturday and they don't work. They take a rest home. But some, when you read the Bible and then you can see why Jesus Christ rebuked them. Some of them they try to keep them, but some of them not really, not 100%. Depend, or sometimes they use it, depends on their situation for, right? With the situations for them, we gotta do this one, that is one. It's a kind of it's good for them and it's kind of permissible, right? If it's not good for them, then you shouldn't like this. Yeah, that's why. And they kind of revisionism and biblical history is wrong. They said they kind of reconstruct kind of stories, and they think they needed to revise again, right? And just think about sometimes because we only rely on the resources and then study, scholars, material, but just it's hard to generalize, right? But if you kind of analyze it that way, and then because social situation like this, and then they don't think it's one of a theory, but they try to kind of generalize. So nowadays, when you study, when I study as a psychology in college, and then here, and then they said whenever I write a paper, they checked if I use the proof. They say you cannot prove this one, right? Maybe you can explore and you can kind of found, you find and you examine, but you shouldn't say prove. You cannot prove this one because what if there is other way? You cannot generalize, right? Every studies. I'm writing my dissertation and I'm still collecting a lot of data, but I can just explain one case, one sample size. People, we got limited and they responded like that, right? But if you study, I study people around live in Southern California around here, in LA County and Orange County. If you study Korean Americans in East Coast, they might be totally different, right? So it's hard to generalize. But we can say that they respond like this, and I found this one from this study. We can say that, but that is kind of one of the problems there. But I told you, kind of the data is a little, right? We could not see the vast of information from the archaeology and scholarly, but still there is a lot of uncertain things, right? We infer and we just think about, we can kind of draw the logical conclusion, but it's hard to generalize with the amount of data. But the data is not enough to generalize. And sometimes kind of a tendency to debunk the system. Just think about, you create a different thing is what the existing system is kind of totally ignored, right? Because this is a theory based on what? And then can you see this one? I found this one, blah blah blah, and then this one. It's a kind of feasible, but not really though. It's a little bit different aspect. And kind of reductionism is a kind of they reduced and just think about the whole picture of the Bible, but they have their own lens and they kind of deduct this one, this one, this one, this one, and they have their own things, right? That's not right. Sometimes, even though you conclude, you will come to the conclusion like this, but what about the other aspect? A lot of questions coming up, right? Yeah, another one is the theoretical disarray, and then the practitioner often fail to recognize what difficulties in applying them to biblical material. Of course, right? Because this is a sociological what? Lens. They use the sociological lens, but just think about the Bible. It's not a sociology. It's a theology, totally different lens, right? Sociology is from what? Study about our society. Theology is about what? Study about God. How God, theophany to the world, and then how is it doing what has done in the world, in this universe. It's about studying. It's a totally different lens. Okay, you gotta know that one. So, when you study psychology and sociology, just think about nowadays we call it social science, and then try to use a lot of experiment and research. But when you study theology and philosophy, they really depends on logic. Even though they don't have a kind of a research and experiment, but they have a logic. So different lens, but you cannot say this one is wrong. You cannot say philosophy, say social science, this is wrong. Yeah, you cannot say that. But they see the world in different lens, right? The philosophy and provide kind of a theory to see, visible theory. But social science try to what? Experiment and it's really like kind of a different way though. But a lot of different theory and the social science try to build up little by little, and they have their own theory like parenting and leadership, all kind of different stuff is there, but still, it's a different lens. So determinism is kind of what? It's like to mean that the assertion that social factors are determined, and they are determined by social factors. Really? There is a lot of factors there, right? Just think about yourself. Sometimes, social factors are there, but sometimes other factors there, right? Emotional factors there, and it's not simple, right? I know social factors a lot of different, economic and political and all kinds of there, but sometimes just think about it, when you study human being, it's not that simple, right? Sometimes there are a lot of theories out there to explain human versus society, but everything doesn't build perfect. We gotta know that, right? It's not 100%. But kind of their theory is that the factors are here, and then we have to follow this one, and we're gonna do this one. That's right. And that's the problem. Okay, today we covered about basic theory, basic principle of basic kind of principle area that how we study for the better understanding of the Bible. So just think about it, and what is a historical factor kind of influence on the author when he write the book, right? That's why we study. There is any language differences here. So in the morning I talk to my daughter. She's home because of vacation now, and then she's gonna going back this Sunday, going back to school this Sunday, and I ask my daughter, and then, do you know any other word for drug, illegal drug? And what? And just like pot, right? Pot is kind of it's a double meaning, right? Pot means what? Marijuana, and then the cookingware when you cook and you use the pot, right? Like this, and then she said, yeah, there's a lot of different. Each medicine, each drug has a different name, so we cannot tell. And then, yeah, I don't do drug, and then I don't know exactly because when you need it, when you buy, and then you gotta go. But still, she knows some word like this. But just think about it, and then what I try to say is that just think about, and why they call the cocaine is a coke, right? Why they call the marijuana is a pot? Kind of it's kind of there is the linguistic kind of evolved and linguistic language kind of evolved, and then meaning is double meaning, and sometimes the meaning is kind of gone and there is totally different meaning formed. That's why, and we gotta know the historical background, and then we gotta know the what. That is a kind of history, and keep evolving, and but what is up? During the evolving and evolving one, and what happened? So at that time, it's different stuff is coming up, right? Pop and produced, and that's culture, right? So culture is kind of face, right? Oh wow, that's all. But we don't know behind what's the process. There's a history covers this one, why this comes out. But when you see the cultures of wow, we can ask a lot of different elements and questions related. You can have a lot of questions, right? Where is why? Who did this like this? And that's why historical and cultural and background, you gotta ask the geographies, right? And you gotta say politics. You gotta see the politics. How you show the maps, and we gotta see economics, and we gotta see any other wars and battles, all kind of stuff, right? And then we gotta know the basic cultural practices and family structure, and what was daily kind of dress, what they eat, why they kind of food eat, and depends on the weather or climate. And if you live in a different area, and then the eating is different. What is available and what is good for their health. They adopt the kind of environment, so they need to survive. It's not a revelation that I said, no. And you gotta study all things, and then we can have a better understanding of the Bible, right? So it's really interesting in studying culture and history. So I try to look up a lot of stuff, and how we are different. How we are different because we are raised in different culture and different way. Even though yeah, if you raised in Korea, China, whatever, in America, and then still everybody is different though. Still there is a subculture. Whereas American culture is a big one, is kind of a common culture. Maybe we are under American culture, but still family culture is different, and then your own kind of philosophy and value is different, right? That's why you have your own different cultures and way of life. You know, that's why. So anything is wrong, anything is right, anything is superior or inferior, everything has what? Every culture has, everyone has what? Unique stuff. Distinguished, right? That's the kind of attitude. So we gotta respect them, right? Regardless of their socio-economic status and regardless of their background, and they are unique, right? Their culture is unique, even though their country is poor, and then they are unique, right? So you're gonna know that one. So I know. So when we learn about when we try to learn about history and culture, and maybe we need kind of critical mind, not criticizing, but critical mind, and then just try to learn about them and understand them. That's our basic attitude about history, learning about history and culture. Any questions? No? Yeah, I hope you guys have a safe week, and see you next week. Take care of yourself very well. So you are away from home, and if you are sick, and it's really, really hard for you. Okay? Take